Hey, this is our last leg of the day today of Maundy Thursday. And it ends in the Garden of Gethsemane. And for those who have watched all the Devos today, thank you. If you have missed the other two, you can still check them out. They're on our Facebook page, they're on our YouTube page, Instagram. Go watch those. Maybe even before you watch this one, go and watch those other two, just so you're caught up to speed about what's going on. But as Thursday was winding down, we see Jesus walking as was usual. You see, something that struck me this time as I was kind of going over this passage and studying it, which is found in Luke. It's found in Luke chapter 22, verse 39. But it says that Jesus was going out to the Mount of Olives as usual. How did Judas know where to find Jesus? It's in the same place that Jesus always went. It was to the Mount of Olives in the Garden of Gethsemane. See, we can almost make the case that Jesus was a creature of habit. Yet this was not a night of going to sleep or campfire stories. No, this night Jesus had a request for his disciples as they got to where maybe they were going to make camp where they normally do or what have you. But he stops his disciples and says, I just want you to pray that you don't fall into temptation. Pray right now that you do not fall into temptation. And then Jesus, he proceeded to go a little further off, which was not uncommon for Jesus, to go and just have time with his Father. And he went ahead a bit and he fell down into the dirt. And Jerusalem was full of dirt and not much grass was there. And when we say garden, we're not referring to a pretty green pasture here. This garden was dirt filled with olive trees. And this night we see Jesus become humanized. He says that many of us have He says what many of us have said during really hard times is, God, spare us from this. God, we don't want this. God, take this from me. You see, Jesus was praying, Lord, take this cup from me. Take this burden that's going to be on me right now. Take it away from me. And maybe when he said, take this cup from me, he was referring back to the redemption cup from the Passover meal. Lord, take this redemption cup. Take this burden. Take this responsibility. Take this away from me. Take it away. I know it's the new covenant, but just take it away from me. If there's another way, let it be. No matter, Jesus was praying for this cup to move past him. I think we would definitely do the same if we were in that situation. Yet in the moment, Jesus continued the prayer. This part we often fail to do. We often fail to do this part. We got the first part really, really good, but we missed the second part. This is what it says in Luke 22:42, saying, Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. The weight of what was about to take place was becoming unbearable. The agony of what was coming caused Jesus to sweat giant blocks, great drops of blood. You see, Jesus was suffering from hematidrosis. And hematidrosis is a condition which capillary blood vessels that feed the sweat glands rupture, causing them to exude blood, occurring under conditions of, catch this, extreme physical or emotional stress. Under extreme physical and emotional stress. Yep, I think that's really the best way to describe what Jesus was going through right here, was extreme physical and emotional stress. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how to get olive oil? You see, olive oil is pressed. You see, an olive has to endure a great amount of pressure to get oil out of it. And do you know what Gethsemane means? It means oil press. And in this garden, known for pressing olives, Jesus is here in this moment being greatly pressured to the point where he's literally sweating out blood. The shadow of the cross was in front of him. He was burdened, and his disciples, they weren't with them. They couldn't stay awake for him as he asked them on several accounts just to stay awake and pray that they wouldn't fall into temptation, pray for him, the last time that they would be together. Jesus just wanted them to pray. How often did Jesus ask them for anything? I wonder. Maybe this was a strange request. The Garden of Gethsemane is really the only place that shows how vulnerable Jesus was as a man. Yet Jesus, being perfect in his life, would ask for the cup to pass, but clearly left it up to God's will. And the Lord's will came through torches and armed guards and a kiss. Jesus would be taken away in the dead of night, and this is how Thursday would end. And so tonight as you get ready to go to bed, as we get ready to close your eyes, pray that you wouldn't fall into temptation. Pray that during this quarantine time that you are, that you're not falling into temptation, that you're actually drawing closer to the Lord. Pray for those who are going to be hearing a lot about Jesus' death tomorrow. Guys, I really think that God is up to something. I think that God is up to something huge, and that we have moved the church outside of its building for one of the biggest, the greatest celebrations that there is, which is Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus. And we are all going to be in our homes sharing this for the digital world, for anybody and everybody to see. I think God is up to something, and I think we need to start praying now for that, for change, for people to get the gospel, to see the love of Jesus that he had and that went to the cross, and the power of the Lord to raise him back to life. So will you join me in praying for those who are going to hear about the death of Jesus and wonder why? Pray for them to begin to understand the why, because you see, Friday is coming. Join us tomorrow as we talk about why we call Good Friday good. We'll see you tomorrow. Know that you are loved.